All right, so I did actually look this time and find this is Sans Hosen 18.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Yeah. Can you remember any of the other ones we've done?
Well, in terms of
'Cause
content, I remember that some of the numbers, up until about 13, we get a bit cloudy.
Right, because I remember ages and ages ago on a video, probably like 2 years ago, someone said, "Oh, I don't think I've ever seen George this angry," and one of the replies was, "Oh, maybe this angry in the podcast where they're talking about Kevin Spacey." And I remember seeing that comment and being like, "Oh, that was so long ago." It really wasn't. That was like the GRS show 48 or something.
Yeah, but isn't that like 2018 or something like that? It's good 5 years ago.
Isn't that 20 years ago? Yeah, I suppose it is. Jesus, what have we been doing?
Fuck all. This is the first one in like 4
Suffering.
months, isn't it? And already I feel overworked.
Yeah. Damien again said just before we started, I'm feeling great about this one. So, oh man.
I mean, you must have detected the note of sarcasm in my voice.
What, you mean now or just
No. When
constantly?
well, fine, okay.
You sound peppy, you sound great. You sound fantastic.
You're close.
Muslims play their own country.
Give them to me.
18.
Sans Hosen 18. Welcome to Sans Hosen 18. It's the
18,
men
18,
without pants.
18.
Cha. 18. That's an A. That's an
18, this
H.
podcast is now legal.
This is Sans Hosen 18. 18. A completely, I mean, I wouldn't even call it disposable. It's more just like garbage. It's like sort of like an industrial byproduct. Like if you imagine, like millions and millions of podcasts have been liquefied and they're traveling down a pipeline. We're like the little bit of dew like dropping out of the sort of the corrosive seam on one of those massive pipes.
Sort of like mildewy scum that will build up.
I think. Do you know what? I don't even think it has that sort of nourishment.
Really?
Like, if it had a bit of mildew in it, if you were assuming that this pipe is going through, a post-apocalyptic wasteland, if you were like a sort of a wild man, lost from your tribe, walking through the desert, got to this big brass pipeline dripping a bit of mildew, you might think that I can survive, but there's nothing in it. Maybe you've got to keep it stagnant for a couple of years before any mildew will grow. Sort of like basically it's got like the nutritional value of water, except extremely toxic.
Boil it for a good few days.
I mean, boil it until it's steam.
But for fuck's sakes, don't inhale.
God, no. I mean, ideally you should be, in a hermetically sealed chamber.
Ideally, you should be drinking a bottle of Evian. Don't nourish yourself with this. Good Lord, man.
On the continent where they still have grass 2,000 miles away. So yeah, welcome. What I wanted to start off by saying was that you may notice that we're a bit louder, and that my previous video was also a bit louder. That's because I've spent 7 years on YouTube trying to adhere to broadcast sound standards, which I don't think I was ever sort of legally required to, but felt I should. But what's happened over the years is places like YouTube and Netflix, which don't have to adhere to any broadcast standards because they don't broadcast, they're just videos. You can put sound levels on them basically however you want. You can blow people's eardrums out. There's no, official recourse where you can ring up like the BBC or PBS and go, "What are you doing?" So what's happened over the years is that's what YouTube has become, is everything is very, very loud. Still, if I go between something like live TV and Netflix, I'll have to change my volume from like 25 to 80 on some apps and things, and that's the reason why. And I am now making everything louder so I can be one of them, one of the scum who will contribute to massive amounts of early going deafness, early loss of hearing.
You don't strike me as someone that
whatever.
You don't strike me as someone that ever really bows to peer pressure. I don't like this change.
Yeah, right. I know. Well, going around YouTube, it's like, oh, my videos are like way quieter than everyone else's, and I know why. You know, I know how I edit them, and I know why they're like that. It's just sort of, you know, I'm the odd one out now because I'm the quiet. You know, I'm like the quietest channel I can listen to, and it's not because I'm doing anything wrong. It's because they've all put their levels up over the years. They've all crept up, but now I have to do that. So there you go. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
That piffle.
Well, I'm just glad that you had something to say this podcast. So
yeah,
for a few minutes, only a few more to go.
I'm at the end of the script now, so I'm gonna have to make some shit up. I will be using from now on all 256 colours available to me. The full chroma gamma spectrum.
So what does that mean? Like a different colour blackout curtain in the back of your sets when you do the videos? It's going to be neon pink next time.
No, like a really subtle and expensive, really dark magenta background, and then like I'll dye my hair like really dark magenta, and then people could be like, "Your camera's fucked." And be like, "No, you're fucking wrong. I'm just wearing some bizarre makeup." We're doing a podcast. Shit. Hello.
Yeah. So
you missed this, don't you, David?
Talk about,
we're not doing it. You do miss this.
Well, I missed this.
Yeah.
Sure. That's why I put it off for so long.
If we didn't do this, we would have the exact same like feelings for each other, but we'd speak to each other like once every 250,000 years. Like,
but we'd always pick up exactly where we left off. It'd be absolutely fine.
Yeah. Do you remember that fat piece of shit?
I know exactly the guy you're talking about. Yes, I do.
Well, no, that could be one of two people.
No, it can't.
No.
We always get onto the second one much later on.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, you could get old and start to be like, oh, I don't like drinking gin anymore.
I'm hoping people do get to that point in their lives.
Yeah, I suppose so. Fair enough. It was a bad example. You know, I picked gin because gin's pretty much the alcohol I don't like.
Yeah.
Everything else, except Sambuca.
Oh, that's vile. I haven't touched that since I was like 19. Fuck that.
Me too. It might be the same night when we last touched it.
We threw up in the same toilet.
You know, it's not so much throwing up. It's once it comes out of your nose. As vomit.
Ass vomit.
As vomit. Like you're vomiting like so forcefully that it's not even coming out of your mouth that just cannot like cope with the volume. It's now the nose, and eventually I guess it'll like start coming out of your eyes and ears.
I haven't had any leakage from my ears, but I suppose it's not off the table.
Yeah, I mean, by proxy, I'm not into ouzo either.
Well, it's the same kind of beast from what I
It's basically the same, isn't it? Yeah, but no one's ever like gotten really, really drunk one night and really sick off like Heineken and then been like,
I don't think you
I
can
don't want to drink
Heineken.
Stella anymore. What are you talking about? It's like 6% in Amsterdam, which is where we used to drink it by the fucking litre.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. But I mean, at least in Europe, it's piss water. It's like 4%. It's nothing.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, you'll like rupture your kidneys before you actually get drunk with all the piss flowing through you like fucking Niagara Falls.
Probably quite good for you then, like a bit like flush some toxins out with some Heineken.
Well, yeah, I work with a dude who has like kidney stones, and he's like he was really. He comes into like in between like sonic shock treatments on his kidneys, right? And every time he comes in like hunched over, and he's not a drinker, but everyone just comes in. You just need to start drinking beer. It's fine. Flush that shit right out of you. It's like, might be a little bit too late for that, and I don't think he's too receptive to these jokes. But
flush it out with beer. I mean, It would have to be like Tesco watery lager.
Yeah, but these guys get really earnest about it as well, and they're saying like, well, actually, beer is really good for like preventing kidney stones. Well, yep, that might be true. The logic is there, but it's has a whole litany of problems of its own that comes with it. So you kind of have to choose your poison with that one, really.
Yes, we've discovered, Your Honour, that feeding. Definitely, if we just feed babies beer, they definitely don't ever develop kidney stones. We can say that.
They also don't develop.
They don't develop very far. They never get rickets even. Just kind of die.
They don't get to that point.
We have had a few escapees go down to the pub, start going on those slot machines. What I was
tell you what, right? It's not an expensive funeral because the plot that you have to buy for a baby is pretty minimal.
I mean, just put them in vertical, you know.
I mean, it could be a shoebox job, really, if you're really thrifty.
I suppose, though, if you think about that, you could save a lot of space with just people just by sort of folding them.
I guess that's why we burn them now.
Now.
And
yeah.
Well, some people scatter them in the forest.
Exclusively.
But if anyone gives me their ashes, they're going down a toilet. I hope they know that.
Really? Okay. I mean, wouldn't you be worried about it blocking? They do seem... I imagine if you put them into...
to be like cursed or anything. I suppose that would, yeah. Well, I do it in increments, I suppose.
I just, all I can imagine is putting someone's ashes down the toilet or something, and then like
just immediately
phone
like,
a plumber and
rehydrating into a corpse that hangs out over the toilet bowl.
Just like a surly tradesman with a plunger around his neck, going, "Yeah, what you've done there is you've made yourself some fucking concrete."
This is an experiment I'd love to conduct, if nothing else.
And then they could use the word unit then, couldn't they? They could be like, I'm going to have to take out the bowl, I'm going to have to take out the pipe, I'm going to have to take out the whole unit. That'd get me off.
Don't even talk to me about the U-bend.
Oh, that's gone. That's shot. Your U-bend, sir, is shot. It is spent.
All right,
what I was
so
going
what
to
we're
say...
saying is it has to be...
Jesus Christ.
No, I'm on this. All right, not a toilet then.
Toilet talk already.
But what if you like to, like, shit in your garden? All right, it's just like a hole in the ground, like like an outhouse. I might do that.
Okay. Good, yeah.
Well,
but then what would you do when it got full?
Well, if I'm going to have an outhouse, I'm going to have a professional come in and flush it out.
Right. Okay. Like a professional, like cesspool cleaner. Like a dude turns up in a van and he's got like a coif on and he's like covered in dirt and he's got like he's bug-eyed and he's going, "Yes, sir. I'll the muck. Yeah, no problem. Love it. Oh, I'm putting it in my sack. That'll be 17 an hour." Yeah, well, anyway.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean...
or is that his price? Is he just takes it away? It's free. He's like a rag and bone man.
Well, I don't imagine there are professional services that do this, so I thought it was going to be a Craigslist job. So by all accounts, I would find someone that would do it just for the love of taking people's shit away, for whatever nefarious purpose they have behind closed doors.
Hello, Craigslist help desk. Yes, of course. The subcategory you're looking for is men with shovels. No problem.
Men with larger mouths.
Craigslist. I think that's stalking. Try stalking first. Yeah. Anyway, what I was going to say was that in Russia, in about the year 2000, they actually changed many of their laws, many of their sort of internal laws to do with like diet and nutrition. And before then, any alcoholic beverage under 5% was legally not classified as alcohol, but foodstuffs. So you could just like buy a can of alcohol with like your ice cream as an 8-year-old. It wasn't like
these cans of alcohol like come with a ring pull, like as a tin of tuna or something.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? Or like a Slim Fast one.
It comes in like an old Five Alive carton, just with a little straw.
That's the problem with tinnies, is you want the whole thing off, so then you can start to put detritus inside it while you drink. Like, you know, like you do, like salt. You put salt in, don't you? And a bit of celery, a bit of hot sauce.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good hangover remedy. Put a raw egg in there. Swish it together with a raw bit sausage, you know.
Put a raw egg in there and then bring it up, not quite to the boil, to cook the egg.
Oh no, it must remain raw.
Oh,
I want that's the silky goodness, the silky creamy goodness of that egg white.
So I wouldn't call a raw egg silky myself.
No,
I'd call it more
phlegmatic.
gloopy. Yeah, phlegmatic. Yeah. Yes, it's almost exactly like phlegm, except it's sort of oilier.
God.
So anyway, anything to say about Johnny Legs?
Don't even mention the movie. Have we even mentioned what movie we watched this week? Month?
This week.
This quarter?
I believe it's Spawn.
1997 Spawn, which I also found out, didn't find out, but I had to remind myself, same year as The Pest, so a very busy year for Johnny Legs. The patron saint of this podcast now.
I like to think I like to think he finished The Pest, walked into his trailer, did a line of coke, walked straight back out as
just wandered off it aimlessly into a different lot and had no idea, and just started doing the same shtick. It was like, all right, roll. If he doesn't know, if he doesn't know, we're just going to give him one paycheck. It's absolutely fine.
No, Johnny Legs in this one as the demonic midget obese clown was actually, I thought, a lot
more nuanced and fleshed out. Those previous characters.
So, yeah. I suppose he was a bit, but more grounded than The Pest.
Yeah, it's still pretty. Oh, I'm not going to say anything like vile. It didn't offend me in any way, but it's just like.
Oh no! The people are going spaz, spaz, spaz.
Yeah, but that wasn't Johnny Legs. That was everyone else. I did a double take when I realised what that fucking dog's name was. That couldn't be right. And if you weren't sure, because I watched this on Amazon and they did not have subtitles available, so I was a little unsure as to what I just heard. So I thought, all right, let's just go back 10 seconds and put the subtitles on. Weren't available, so I just have to trust in my failing ears. But later on in the movie, the dog gets lost and somehow has wriggled its way out of its collar, which has a delightful name tag on it. Just to clarify it for me. And you get a nice, glorious shot of this collar. And in big letters, Spaz.
Do you remember me telling you about that general studies lesson with Miss Utley, where someone was going on about people with dwarfism and I wouldn't want to be a dwarf because then I'd have to marry a dwarf. Sorry about that. Right? Do you remember that same lesson, that same person? Right? We were talking. So again, this was at the end of school, 17 to 18. It was like a free hour. So let's talk about civics nonsense with someone who can't someone who can't speak. And we were talking about Dam Busters. You know that movie, Dam Busters?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so in real life, I think I'm right. The wing commander or whatever, or the lead pilot, I don't know.
Oh yeah, he has a little dog.
And in real life, the dog's name was...
I mean, I'm not doing it, you do it.
Necktie.
Yes.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And
so we were...
am I correct in thinking it was a dog with black fur as well?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I mean, is that better or worse?
I mean, that's much worse.
A calico cat, and you called it. Yeah.
Calico cat.
If it was like a calico cat and it had that name, is that? I mean, obviously it's still racist, but.
It's still pretty.
I suppose the intent is just more mystifying. Well, whatever.
The intent is mystifying, but it's still, I would say, vile.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes, fair enough. I suppose it's.
But I don't know what.
Calling a dog flange or something. It's,
but
it's not a very nice word.
Yes, but I mean, at least across the pond, flange. There might be a little bit of confusion as to what that means, but not spaz.
These are, but flange and spaz both sound like components in a turboprop.
Well, they just needed the scene to set that up when they got the dog. You know, there was enough.
No, honestly, I could just imagine like some fucking Navy technician going, "Yeah, right, that's the problem. I need to connect the flange through the detard to the spaz." Got it. Yeah. Well, anyway, so in that very same class, talking about dam busters and that's something.
You say dam busters.
That's a matter of fact.
And I have like Jamie Savage and Jamie Heineman. What's Adam Savage and Jamie Heineman in mind?
Yes.
And they're the ones beckoning this little dog.
Yeah. They don't want it. They don't want it to be called that either. But talking about that's it's maybe not maybe it's not an important fact, but it is an historical fact. But if you were going to make a movie again today, would you just not have the dog? Would you rename the dog? And the same person who said the only reason they wouldn't want to be a dwarf, they wouldn't have any problems with being a dwarf, but if they were a dwarf, the biggest obstacle would be they would have to marry a dwarf. They said they should have the dog, but rename it Nelson Mandela. A man who was probably like 10 years old during the events of this movie. You should have named him Barack Obama.
Oh man, metal to that.
Still a black name and everything.
That man,
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. No, it wasn't a man. It was a girl.
Oh well, breaking the glass ceiling. They can just be as obnoxious as us.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So there you go. So there we've talked about Spawn, I guess.
I want to say that one of the things that you told me what to expect from this movie. Well, not what to expect. The thing that we were going to talk about, which was John Leguizamo as an obese dwarf, basically. Right. So in my mind, I mean,
so obese, his knees are like touching the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I had in mind
was some bow leg going on. I mean, bow-legged. It's like.
Oh yeah, no, that's a proper gooch stroke with every stride.
Well, I've never heard that term. I was going to say something about his X-ray must be interesting. What's a gooch stroke?
Well, he's stroking his gooch on the floor with every foot.
Right. I see. And would that be pleasurable for him?
I mean, the character himself is I'm sure a pervert. There's no reason he wouldn't get off on that. But physically, I don't think he's capable of anything else. So he'd have to find a way to enjoy it.
Okay.
Or just live with it. Right. That'd be the way to live with it, surely. But
I mean, he can transform and stuff. I mean, is he choosing to be this, or was this his earthly form almost?
No, we can't do this. We can't possibly ask these questions of this movie because they don't exist.
Okay, all right.
It is what it is. But when you told me that he was playing a fat dwarf, well, not fat. This is like critically obese. When you told me that, I expected to see John Leguizamo acting on his knees, or always being in shot like up to the waist. But what they've done is even better than that. This movie, right, is just a glorious like core workout for John Leguizamo because they made this fat suit so fat that he's basically just crouching down at all times, but his fat suit is that big that he can just get away with it. He's just walking. You see him like all of him in a shot, and there's no. Well, this is before like they really have CGI answers for stuff like that. But he's not on his knees, and they just like put shoes there or anything like that. No, he's stood on his feet. He's just crouched inside a fat suit.
He must have quads like a Bond villain.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That must have been exhausting. I mean, like when he's done, they
cracking fucking walnuts for the crew in between takes.
Because I imagine, like, when they don't roll the cameras, like, his assistant has to come up and put a chair behind him and roll him back. Because he can't, like, stand up, because that's going to, like, tear the suit. So he's stuck like that. It's actually physically very demanding.
Maybe they had, like, a interior exoskeleton. Interior to the suit.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, we all talk about like
maybe it was Johnny Five just holding him, and they just covered him in green stuff, CGI'd him out.
Number Johnny Five Leguizamo.
Reduced to being a set assistant.
I also want to see that movie where it's Short Circuit, but we just remove the robot and just put John Leguizamo as he is. Everyone responds to him as a robot. Doesn't look like a robot. Doesn't behave.
You got
one.
crap head.
Oh man, he'd eat that up.
He'd eat that up.
Flim flammed.
Imagine
how many accents he can say that in. Oh, a flim flammed.
Yeah, he could really take it to the edge as well when he meets the Mexican street urchins. Low rider.
Oh, I was going to do fucking...
No.
I was going to do English again. I will desist.
It's it's such a fucking great accent to do because it's so it's so easy to step in and out of.
It shouldn't be.
Just yawning there.
Well, I don't think we're going to discuss the plot, but I will briefly talk about the one laugh this movie got out of me.
Oh no, let's discuss the plot. Spawn is a super army soldier who works for
the army.
he works for well, yeah, kind of, but he works for what's his name?
Michael Sheen.
Yeah, Michael Sheen.
It was nice seeing him. I was
difficult.
kind of
There's like so many Michael Sheens now. Michael Sheen, huh? Yeah, Michael Sheen.
I liked seeing him in it. That was nice. Then I got a bit tired, but this is the best I'm going to see in this movie. So yeah, all right, I'm on board.
I mean, it's like he got his gear stuck in fifth and couldn't get it out. He was all the way out there, wasn't he, Martin Sheen? I mean this in the best way. It was a ludicrous performance.
But every time I see Michael Sheen, I just want him to be playing his role from Dead Zone. And I never get that.
Hallelujah!
The missiles are flying, boys.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen how that would have played out. Like, what was his plan after that in Dead Zone? Was he just going to be like king of Shit Mountain or what?
I don't know. But I saw Dead Zone relatively recently, but you show me that one clip, and I knew nothing about the movie and so it's completely out of context. And that was, I mean, you showed me because it was.
That's the best bit.
Oh yeah, for sure, and it's a great performance. Great couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never knew how it fit in with the movie, and I saw it much later on. And I was like, okay, well, bit of a shame, really, but still, glorious couple of minutes.
I don't think Dead Zone was terrible, but yeah.
No, but I'd like to imagine that was like the end of the movie. It's like shortly after that, you have the credits roll or something.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Well, never mind.
One of those downer endings.
I think Christopher Walken could have done a good job here as the Knight, or whatever the hell he was, the Knight in a fucking hat. I've seen this movie twice. I don't think I caught anybody's name.
No, I watched it like an hour ago.
I know you did. I'm watching it right now. Did you like the... Oh yeah, what I was also going to say was everybody in this movie needs an orthodontist, and that's coming from me. Especially Satan.
Oh dear, PS1 Satan.
No, you see, you're wrong, right? You are absolutely wrong. It's actually, for the time, pretty good. I mean, it's dreadful now, but...
All right, it's not PS1, but I mean...
That would have been amazing for PS1.
All right, fair point, but it would sit in place like GameCube PS2 era for sure.
I guess. I mean, as a cutscene...
Oh yeah, of course.
Not anything you could play.
Pre-rendered. Yeah. This isn't gameplay footage. It needs to come up in the corner.
Just not gameplay footage. You see, 1997, what a wonderful time. They could have done something back then, but bonkers, like have a PS1 game of this where you play as John Leguizamo or something like that. They'd never do anything like that now.
No, of course not.
Yeah. There's a new Harry Potter game out. Obviously, I wanted to play as Voldemort.
And what happened there? Did you achieve this goal?
You can't, no. You got to play as a little kid, I think. I don't know, I haven't played it. It's not my type of game, but if they had Voldemort, it would be.
You haven't played it. Have you
I
played
haven't played it. I've never played any Harry Potter game.
You just said you did. You lied to the listener base.
Sorry, dude.
You've embarrassed yourself. You've embarrassed me. You've embarrassed the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. How does that feel?
Frequently. So I really liked John Leguizamo in this. I kind of wish he had way more in it, and I wish what he had usually been longer, because that was like the only entertaining thing in it, really.
Yeah, for sure. I would have liked if the showdown at the end, he did not transform at all. He's still his like crappy, bloated clown self. Trying to throw punches with Michael Jai White. Oh, one thing, quick mention. So Michael Jai White plays Spawn. It's obviously the main character, but John Leguizamo gets first billing on the credits.
Oh yeah, harsh. Well, he is in it a lot.
Well, you know who costs more money.
Yeah. Well, good. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't have anything else to say about Spawn. You know, I mean.
Surely not. Like 32 minutes in. We've got to do more than this.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. Well, do you have anything else to say?
If interesting wipes and scene transitions are your thing, definitely check this movie out. Because they do everything they can to make it as interesting as possible from scene to scene. Because the scenes themselves are
I've been
pretty bad.
into interesting wipes since seeing the original cut of Star Wars, where who is it? Luke and Obi-Wan pick up C-3PO, who's been cut in half, and as they pick him up, there's a bottom to top vertical wipe going up with C-3PO's shattered torso or severed torso,
and screams of pain.
That? Why did the program fear in it?
Every step is a new nightmare.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So what else have you been up to, Damien? How's your toilet?
Well, the toilet here is excellent. The toilet up north, not so much. Actually, no. I told you that I concluded this saga. The toilet was actually fixed, and when I been up there recently, I forget what for, but I actually got to use the what was originally the flush bucket for its intended purpose as a bin. I don't know.
Did you?
It seems so humble and so mundane, but it was a big moment for me to just throw some paper in that bin and not use it to shovel my own shit down a toilet.
What paper were you putting in?
Oh, just like scraps. I'm talking like, something from like a discarded sandwich packet, that type of thing.
Why did you put that in the bathroom bin?
It wasn't in the bathroom anymore. It no longer needed to be there. That's why it was That's why it was an important moment.
You see, this is what I wanted to ask you about: trash cans in toilets. What's that about? What are people using them for? Just flush it. Maybe tampons, I guess. I don't know.
Well, you can't. You can't say that because you had to keep a trash can in your toilet back in Mexico, and you gave me, if pardon the pun, so much shit on like the first couple of days when I'd accidentally flushed.
I told you not to flush. I don't want it to get blocked. That's it.
No, I get that.
It's not my fault.
But it's an instinct, you just like the idea of like putting that in a bin next to you doesn't come naturally after so many years, and I caught flack for it. So you can't get up in your high horse about having bins in toilets.
No, that makes sense. In Western societies or non-Western societies with functioning flush
in the civilized world
apparatus, what do you need a bin for? But you do need a bin. I used to know someone who would rip up the cardboard toilet tube and flush that.
Oh dear. That's bad.
Whereas obviously what you should be doing is perforating them and making necklaces out of them. like you're like an African warrior, like, and they're like saber-tooths. Look at all the toilet cores I've vanquished. And behold.
Or one sad day when I was a child and I was trapped on the toilet with no paper left.
Oh, no, you didn't use that, did you?
Oh, I pieced it up and used it to shovel it off. The remnants off my anus.
Oh, no, that was horribly fucking visual. Like, you had to, like dig it in there like a...
Oh, yeah, no, it's like a small trowel.
Right, so you actually, like... You used your index finger and your middle finger and your thumb to sort of depress.
Yes,
almost triangular.
Fold it a little bit,
shape. To give it a three-dimensional. So this would give it depth as well.
Yeah. The thing was, it wasn't even.
So there was a lot of shit just stuck up there then.
No, it wasn't even a messy job, but
it sounds messy, dude. It sounds.
No, the shit itself was dry, and it was a clean cut departure. But I felt the need to kind of do due diligence. But because I was not getting adequate feedback when I would check the cardboard, I invariably kept going until I blistered my anus.
Yes, you do the old adage of brown, 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 white, 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 red, red, red.
Yeah. Yes, I'm a 22-stroke
That would
man.
be my flag if I ever seceded. Brown, white, and red. We salute you.
You can't fly it in the rain.
No one wants
just
those
crumbles.
colours.
Just sellotape all this toilet paper together.
The country motto could be, you know what you get when you mix a little bit of brown, a little bit of white, and a little bit of red? Brown! Oh. Poo. Right, okay, well, I've never thought to do that before.
No, I learned my lesson, and if I've ever been stranded before, it's been either a sock I'm prepared to sacrifice, or depending on how close I'm set to the sink.
Just jump in the shower. You never done that?
What, taking a shit in the shower? Or just
No,
immediately take a shower and just really get in there.
Taking a shit, you've got no paper, so you jump into the shower and wash your ass.
Oh, I have no patience for that. No.
You just don't wash your ass at all.
I learned my lesson on that fateful day.
Oh dear, yeah.
I crusted up so much and it accumulated over the years that I'm practically sat on my own natural hemorrhoid pillow at all times.
I watched a new South Park recently where they seem to be, well, they seem to be. They don't
diminishing.
They were diminishing toilet paper and its use. And I don't know. I never really thought of it like that, And I've been to countries where they don't use toilet paper, and gone with it and all that. And I've never really sort of thought this is better. I mean, I get it. Wash your ass. Definitely when you have a shower, wash your ass. Why not?
Wash a few things while you're in the shower, not just your ass.
Yeah.
There are more reasons to get into the shower than you've just taken a shit.
Yeah.
All right. Let me ask you this. I actually, for the first time in my life, only a few weeks ago...
Oh, no, you used a bidet, didn't you?
I used a bidet. Yeah.
You're not going to put it inside.
Like, actually sat right on the tap. I was wondering why it was...
Put your whole body weight on top of the nozzle.
Like, I saw it was facing down, and, I was on holiday, and people that I was there with in this villa had to walked in after they heard all this hammering, and I'm trying to get the nozzle to face up, It's like, I can't see the logistics here unless it's going to work like this. No! What are you doing? We're not going to get our deposit back now, you fucker. But, yeah, so I thought I'd give that a go, see how the other half lives. Right? So,
yeah,
I assumed it's like an alternative to toilet paper, but what I found was I'd still have to TP afterwards anyway to dry everything up. So I don't see what the advantage of having a bidet was. Maybe
you need one of those like Dyson hand dryers to hover your naked naked. Well, I suppose your naked anus and testicles over.
My huge
Possibly like
pendulous
slamming them into your
nads.
face. Because those Dyson ones are very an air blade, so it really has your balls going everywhere. Yeah.
No, they're not going everywhere. They're going one way, and if they get caught, you're fucked.
Straight towards the oscillating fan.
They're already in the fucking in the septic
grill.
tank.
The septic tank, yeah. I know you mean
Not
the
septic
cistern.
tank. What would you call it?
The cistern.
Not, for a bidet? No.
Oh well, yeah.
Well, I imagine.
The whole unit.
Well, so in some infrastructures they have properties have like a tank where all this stuff goes, and it's like either flushed out or pumped away or something like that, sump pump or something like that. I think at least in London it just goes down to the sewer, no problem.
Yeah, are you talking about a septic tank? Like where you mean where your shit goes if you aren't plumbed into the sewage line?
Yeah.
Yeah, septic tank. That's not in your house. That's like buried underground, like kind of far away usually.
Hopefully.
It's just like in individual pockets, like bladders, the same way Kif is made. But these bladders are just full of shit, and they're just in your walls. So every time you put up a picture, you run the risk of puncturing like your entire sewage system.
God almighty. If this was going to be the bulk of the episode, I have to ask, why did you make me watch Spawn?
What? This isn't going to be the bulk? No. What are you talking about? This is like the bulk of the whole show, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like we're about to roll the curtains as well. But, I mean, why did I watch Spawn?
What are you talking about? We've talked about Spawn loads. I like John Leguizamo in it. He was funny. That's about it.
That's what you need, really, I suppose. Michael Sheen was in it. Better in Dead Zone.
What? He
Would
wasn't
recommend in Dead Zone.
Yeah, right, okay. Right, thanks. Yeah, do you like him in any other films? He's pretty good in Apocalypse Now, isn't he?
Yeah, but you can see he's only like cutting his teeth. He's just getting himself primed for Dead Zone.
That's right. I remember his acceptance speech at the Academy Awards after winning an Oscar for Dead Zone, where he said his entire life had been leading up to playing that part in Dead Zone. Yeah.
Is it Dead Zone or is it The Dead Zone? We might be doing it a great disrespect right now.
I think it's Dead Zone brackets The Dead Zone. Brackets based on Stephen King's The Dead Zone. Brackets based on the book by Stephen King.
Adapted screenplay. From the
by
book.
Noam Chomsky.
With help from Salman Rushdie.
Help from Salman Rushdie, yes, that's right.
It should have been a weightier product than it actually was. We're all very disappointed in these artists.
Well, yeah, you keep wanting to go back to Spawn, so yeah, go on then, Spawn.
No, I don't want to keep going back to Spawn. I'm just shocked that we've said everything we're going to say about it. I mean, yeah, was there really anything else to talk about? I mean, it's trash. It's not the most. Yeah, I mean, it's serviceable trash. You'll have fun with it. I did have a lot of frustration with the how kind of incongruent the scenes were, because they were almost at some points playing simultaneously, and it wasn't jarring. It was just annoying because with everyone, the wipes were all unique. You know, it might be like a cape thing or a bit green flash, or in one case it was you see like a crucifix on the back wall, which that then flew through and then flew away into the distance. I described that really badly, but there's a wipe with a crucifix in a really bizarre fashion.
Yes.
And a couple of the cape wipes, I just assumed that Spawn was dropping down from the ceiling and then just cut to something else and he wasn't there. And I was like, what the fuck, man?
Oh, it was a wipe. Yeah. I suppose the one thing I have to say about it is one bit I really did like. One bit I really did like was when John Leguizamo was kind of hanging around Spawn's ex-wife and her new husband and kid. Mm-hmm. And the little girl says to John Leguizamo, "You're the same clown as before," and John Leguizamo goes, "No, duh." And then like
I remember it like this. It's like, "No shit, you little bitch!"
stupid
really mouthed
idiot.
off at this kid.
And then like he stuck his like incredibly long tongue out and like around his own head, and like his eyes popped out.
Oh
And then
yes,
it
yeah.
came back
Because
to
then the movie
little
suddenly
girl.
became The Mask for some reason.
Yeah, it was exactly like The Mask, and the little girl went, "Hmm," and no one reacts to anything in this movie. Everyone, like, things happen, like, someone transforms from being a person to being, like, a massive monster, and everyone just, like, looks at the camera and goes, "Oh." Like, clearly no one was told what they should be looking at or how they should be reacting.
Yeah. And at least the characters in context of the story don't react to the fact that there's obviously a confirmed theology. There is a heaven and hell here.
Yes.
It's like, we knew all along. Because we're good Christians.
I guess, I've never really understood that about Satanists at all. Like actual, and not just like kids messing about and not just sort of making a philosophical point by saying you're a Satanist, but like actual people who believe that. Like, surely then you believe in Christ, right?
Yeah. But I think it's only baffling if you look through. I mean, we grew up in England, it's a very heavily Christian. It's essentially like monotheist type thing. But there are a lot of religions where there are several gods and people choose which ones to worship. I think it's just kind of like that, really, isn't it? They accept that Christ and God and what have you, but they think that Lucifer is the way forward.
Yeah, all right, okay. I suppose I see what you're saying, but yeah. I don't, it just doesn't seem like, if you were going to believe in one, why would you believe in one, the one that, like, you... I suppose you could twist it on its head, though, couldn't you? You could be like, oh, no, Satan didn't kill anyone, and God killed all these people in the Bible, and God's the one that actually lied to Adam and Eve all the time, and God's the... Ooh, actually, oh my God. Wait a minute. I'm going to have to think about this.
Well, yeah, I don't know much about like the tenets of Satanism, but they have like their own commandments and stuff like that, and like
they just the opposite.
Not
you will murder.
No, like one of them I seem to remember is like Satan represents love on those people that deserve it, and not wasted on ingrates,
right,
and stuff like that. And you can see yeah.
Ingrates. It actually says that.
No, it doesn't say ingrates. I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember what it actually says in like the Book of Satanism. But they have like commandments like that, and it's not like kill, murder, blood, or anything like that. It's more about if someone wrongs you, you have the right of vengeance and stuff like that. Things that you can see people like gravitating towards for like not logical reasons, but you can see why it resonates with them. But I seem to remember. I saw the first few, and you can see how it suckers people in. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm kind of bored of like being patient with people when I should just, fuck these people off and ignore them, do my own thing, and just kind of live, enjoy myself, and ignore people that try to, fuck with that. Just, I think like the first few ones kind of represent, but if you go down the list, there's some really like wacky ones. One of them was like, if someone comes into your house with more magical power than you are indebted to kind of prove your magical prowess. And it's like, oh right, okay, so it's still cuckoo. It's still cuckoo at the end.
And that doesn't make any sense, even if you did have magical powers. What? So someone who's got more power than me can just come in? I mean, that's basically just saying if someone's got a bigger gun than you, they own your house. What?
I don't know more
magic.
Than that.
What? Magic? All right, then, whatever.
I'm sure you could quickly like Google this and have a read for yourself, but I did it once, a long time ago, and these were the things that stuck out. Like the first few are like kind of coherent and things that you could see people getting on board with, and it just loses the fucking plot after that.
Yeah. Well, that's almost like every religion, isn't it? The more you read into it, oh yeah, it's...
Yeah, but this stuff really doesn't, because this was like written in the 70s, so it's not an ancient
by
text.
somebody on acid.
Yeah, so it gets
you
very
about the
wacky
Crowley
very
stuff?
quickly. Sorry?
You're talking about the Crowley stuff.
No, it's that's not Crowley. The Satanism thing is Anton LaVey. Crowley's much earlier, if I remember rightly. I think he's like early 20th century and late 19th century. I'm not sure.
I thought it was a bit later than that.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't think it. In my head, the Crowley's not like particularly modern.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. And you were saying that Harry Potter is Satanist. Is that right?
Well, yeah. Look, I mean,
not him, but the whole.
Well, he's got the scar. He did that to himself. No.
Did he do that to himself? I thought that was like the mark of Cain from God.
That was his hazing ritual. They all have to do it.
Ever walk in the land of Nod.
Fucking hell. All right, dude. I need to just pause this for a second because I really need to use the loo. I'll be right back.
No problem. Yeah, me too. All right, I'll be back in a sec.
Cool.
So Damien and I are back from Touching Tales, and Damien was going to tell us all about how Harry Potter is Satanist. Harry Portnoy. Cinemoy. Go on. Tell us.
Well, because he's a warlock, you know. Those powers aren't afforded to any good Christian. So naturally,
So you're saying he is a Christian, but he's a bad Christian?
No, it exists in the Christian world, of course, but he can practice magic.
Yeah, which is the real world. That's our world.
Yeah,
we agree. Yeah, right.
But he can only practice magic, a privilege afforded to him after his completing his blood oath to our Lord Satan.
By sacrificing his parents.
Exactly. That's why he's an orphan. I read the books. Don't fucking quiz me. I know this shit. You know it too. Fucking hell. It's a huge property. We all know this.
Yeah, and it aligns with Disney's agenda to have people looking more witchy. Buy more cauldrons. It's big cauldron.
And it explains J.K. Rowling's transformation over the last demonic transformation over the last 2 decades into this witch hag. To what? From witch hag to witch hag raven.
Crone Lord, I think.
Crone Lord. I want to see that movie.
Crone Lord. I think it'd be funny to call her that because it's kind of gender bendery. Because she ain't no lord, she a lady. But here you are calling her Crone Lord. Chocolate helicopter.
Avoid
on your toes.
Contact with my chocolate ass.
Hell. Do you want to explain what that is? To
No.
You might accidentally be listening.
No, they can easily Google the words chocolate helicopter and they're right on the same fucking page.
It'll be the first thing that comes up.
And what we must make clear is that's a very important part of our intellectual development in our 20s, right there.
Yes. It wasn't even Gmod, was it?
No, I think it was Gmod. With like assets from, I think, Left 4 Dead?
Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I didn't play that game.
I did, and I always played as Chocolate Helicopter. Because of that.
And it was really unsatisfying at first, so I actually installed a mod where I could play as a chocolate helicopter.
Oh, dear. I have no idea how we got onto that.
Toilet Talk, Harry Potter, Spawn. It was a natural progression.
Yeah. Did you ever read the books?
No. I think my parents tried to get me involved when I was younger. I think they just want me to read more. Like my mum signed me up to like book subscription. So for a while, there's a point I just get sent another Goosebumps book through the mail every like 2 weeks or a month or something like that. And I had a catalogue of them from like the very first one to whatever at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And a little bit later on, I was given a copy of Harry Potter and the Prison of Azkaban. Not the first book, because
the third book.
They were trying to get me involved, but it was a point where it was kind of exploding. and I think a lot of adults were
Yeah.
into it. And you had like the Penguin published ones that had the painted covers, very childish and what have you. And then they did a line of ones with like more adult covers. Adult. Yeah, so it was like a black and white photograph of. Well, it was meant to look like a photograph. It was like photoreal depiction of like the griffin that's in it on the front of that book. So presumably you don't look like a child when you're caught reading this on the tube. I was given that. Never actually picked it up. Like any book, I've read.
Yeah, you've never read a book, have you?
Maybe like four books, cover to cover, in my whole life. I think fiction outside of school, I've maybe read one, and it's probably one of those Goosebump books. It's nothing I ever really got on board with, because at the same time it's competing with things like the PlayStation and the TV. It was just not going to happen. Some people, I went to school with a lot of people that were avid readers, and they would burn through this stuff. And good for them. They're probably a lot smarter than I am.
Because of reading Goosebumps all the time.
Absolutely. They might not have developed past that
They're
point.
probably less in for a scare now. Because they've encountered so many scares and managed to empathize.
They just live in
those
total
scares.
darkness, you know?
Absolute fear. Yeah.
And yeah, a couple of non-fiction things. I keep trying, but it's just something that doesn't gel with me. The last thing I think that I read cover to cover was the Man Who Heard Voices, the M. Night Shyamalan thing that you gave me. Which was, I mean, it's interesting for sure, but I don't really make time to read. I feel like I keep complaining that I have so little free time. And
so what do you do when you're on the tube then?
Invariably, I'll just listen to music or just do whatever I can to zone out and not think about the day that awaits me.
Okay, fair enough.
I find that reading is something that makes me like very sleepy very quickly. I've tried it on the tube quite a lot, and I just find that I'm kind of wiped out. If I'm going to work, I'll be wiped out, and equally if I'm going back and I'm like, I'm going to do all this, that, and the other. I'll read on the tube for a little bit, and then I'll get off and I'm like, no, I'm ready for a nap.
Interesting. Or not at all. I'm not sure.
Well, I know because you've read loads. I don't feel like I'm unique in that.
No.
It's not like I don't know how to read, you know. I know how to go through the news and stuff like that, but nah.
Yeah, I mean, you probably do read quite a lot, just not, not fiction.
Just not for recreation. Yeah.
Probably reading like potatoes, broccoli, half a pound of steak all day.
Yeah.
Back of fire extinguishers, things like that. The health and safety code. Underneath the pennies.
I'd like to read the list of first aiders on staff, but alas, it doesn't seem to exist anywhere in the building.
What's that? Lawyer says, I don't have a lawyer. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not saying any more on that one, but there you go. Not yet, at least. Not until I'm nice and clear of that situation.
With this wonderful lull that we've been sort of letting fester on, let me change things to recently. My power went out for 5 days.
Oh yes, you had mentioned this. I'd like to be reminded of this, and
I bet you would.
Well, I'm sure there are updates. There's
jolly interesting
story. There's going to be more to the story than you let on the other time.
Well, the power went out for 5 days. I was without power for 5 days. It was a dark time without power.
But you told me you have an electric bidet, so, I mean, how did you live?
So I had an extremely cold but clean anus.
It was dry. I would clean it. I'd sit until it was a dry clean.
That's the problem with electric bidets, is if there's some sort of, EMP that goes off, you're not going to be able to clean your ass. Then where are you going to be? Begging for toilet paper?
What are the circumstances of this power outage?
There was a big-ish storm that blew over, many, many trees all across, not just the state, but the whole region around Kentucky. and it knocked over like 6 trees just on this stretch of the road that I'm on, and like 4 of them, all pine trees, 4 of them fell on electric cable, and it just took the crew like 5 days to even get out there because they had so much shit to do, and probably not that many crews. So, have you ever been in a power outage for that long, or anything near that long?
Oh, God,
because I haven't.
No, I had one power outage at work in December. I was very lucky because I just walked in to the kitchen. I work on the 5th floor of this building, so I have to get a lift up there. And just as I'd walked into the kitchen, it happened actually before I'd walked around the corner into it. I just walked into the kitchen, it was just black. So in those 10 seconds, the power had kind of cut out. And that persisted for about 90 minutes. I was very lucky that I could have been trapped on lift that entire time without any clue as to what was going on. But when the power goes out, what will happen in kitchens is that the extraction will go out, which means that the gas will be immediately cut out as well. No harmful fumes can accumulate. But the problem was we also have
How long before you get to that? Well, yeah, go on, and then I have a question about the lift. But go on.
The problem was that we still have a live fire grill with charcoals and stuff like that, so that would still smoke. And with extraction, you don't really see the smoke at all. It just gets swept up and it's nice and clean.
Started to choke to death.
Yeah, well, no, it started to accumulate.
I'm Bruce Willis. No, I'm Haley Joel Osment. And no one else can hear you.
Excuse me? What?
What? So the kitchen started to fill with carbon dioxide.
Yeah, so the smoke was still accumulating, but this was like midway through the lunch service. I would have got there at about 2:30 when this kicked in. And there are still like the better part of like a dozen tables that still need to be fed, and it was Christmas, so in the private function rooms they've got people coming in for Christmas dinners, like 30 heads apiece or something like that. And it was getting smoky very quickly, fogging out. The place was misted, and by all accounts they are required to evacuate the building because it is harmful to breathe this shit. But they persisted with the service and putting all this food out. And people are looking quite uncomfortable, like sitting in this thing. But at the same time, they don't take it upon. They don't have the agency to kind of get up and leave. They're like, well, I'm going to get my food, surely. A few people just knew to leave because they knew that their meal would be comped. But others stuck through, and the people that were on the line were kind of indebted to kind of get this food out. And it's like, why on earth are you doing this? It's ridiculous. Which was disgusting.
Yeah.
But
in the pitch black.
Well, it's still midday, so there's a lot of windows. It's not completely black, but it's we're quite far away from the windows, so at least the kitchen unit itself would be quite dark.
Oh dear.
And yeah, people were running this stuff, and they get their phones out and they put the lights on so they could see what they were doing. It's like, if you can't see what you're doing, for fuck's sake, we work with knives and fire. You can't, this ain't legal. Stop. But some people were, definitely the company men, and obviously wanted to stick it through, thinking it would earn them brownie points. Didn't, so they put themselves through that for no good reason, and that's bad. But what I saw, which was kind of disgusting, because it's a private members club that I work at, people who come in, the members, couldn't understand this idea of a power outage, and as time went on, we get more information about it. So it wasn't just this floor, it was the building. It wasn't just the building, it was the block, and it was actually the area by and large. For whatever reason, we don't know. But it wasn't just us. There was just a huge failure.
We got a substation blown out on 53rd Street.
Potentially, something like that. But these people were blowing their shit about it. People would come down from the functions about the Christmas dinners, and they were saying like, "This is really embarrassing that we can't have all our food like right now." So like, this is an act of God. We can't. Nothing's working. I mean,
the power's out.
We We have some gas ovens.
This is really embarrassing, having to get on these lifeboats as this ship sinks. This is embarrassing.
Yeah, and I mean, how do you answer that? I mean, you had some manager that would kind of smooth
with
talk
violence.
Well, that was my inkling, because I have to kind of leave whenever I'd hear something like that. But the best one was someone who came through from another room. Clearly came in to kind of make some work calls, work on their screenplay in public, just to be seen.
Judgmental. Could have been a stage play.
Well, you know where I work, so you know exactly these types of people. But
it is a media people's club.
Yeah.
I think,
Well, that's what they sell themselves as, right? It's supposed to be very bohemian, but now it's a lot of. It doesn't belong to them at all. It's actually, it's all their kids, and you got, These people.
Is it blue shirts with white colours type people?
Yes.
But perhaps a little bit of red, perhaps on a cufflink or something, or perhaps the thread.
I have a very elaborate tie. One that's a little bit of a risk, actually. Looks like it was cut out of a circus tent. But you know what? It's a statement piece.
And it cost a shitload.
Oh, of course. That's the whole point. Otherwise, why would you bother? But one lady came up...
Let's just buy an old boat, Damien, and just start being pirates. International waters.
Yeah, I could live on the seas. It's fine. I don't like land anymore.
When land was too much. And we'd have to buy basically the equivalent of like a busted out RV equivalent of a boat. It'd be like having to empty the very bottom of it out every morning or something. Anyway.
So we watched one of those YouTube videos of some of that experimental vehicles from car companies that, can kind of transform into a boat. And you see them driving into the water. Like we're watching that and we look over at each other. And our best solution is to just kind of tape some balloons to the side of a fucking, Reliant Robin.
yeah. Take some weather balloons, and then just fill.
Oh, weather balloons!
Doors
fucking la-di-da.
Yeah.
Look at Mr. Moneybags over here. Fucking hell.
Yeah, maybe we could make our own weather balloon with just
So we're living in the air now.
Well, all right then. Tires float, I think. No, they don't. Oh dear.
What also floats in water? Cider.
Wood.
Very small rocks.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Let me just, okay.
Yeah.
So,
sorry. Quickly.
Yeah.
So the most offensive thing I heard that day was someone came in from the other rooms. Working on a screenplay, stormed up to the pass and it's like, "Why are you having a power outage? I need to charge my laptop."
With that inflection and everything, huh?
Oh, God, yeah, for sure.
My laptop.
And they weren't speaking to me, so I didn't handle it, but I immediately, 180 and had to walk off and, take a few deep breaths in the corridor. I can't believe
Vomit steam.
And, yeah, I'm serving these people. What the fuck, man?
Jesus Christ.
Indeed.
What I was going to ask you about the lift was you said that you could have, if you'd just been 10 seconds behind, you could have ended up spending 90 minutes in the dark without knowing what was going on. How long would it take for you to get stuck in a lift in the dark with no idea what's going on, can't hear anything, can't communicate with the outside world? How long before you just go feral, crack the doors open and start looting everything nearby for copper wire and other such things to modify your weapon?
About 7.5 minutes.
Yeah.
For sure.
It would be quite an escape, really, to end up in a zombie game like that or something.
Well, I say that, but the truth is,
I'd have to go to work tomorrow.
If I was in that lift going into that shift and I was stuck in the lift, you could still get reception in there, so people would be able to feed me.
Wank.
Yeah, they'd feed me information. So look, we've got a power outage. Just sit tight, and I'd be like, yeah, sure, fine. I'll just take my apron off, fold it up, turn it a little pillow, just take a nap in the fucking lift until it's done. fuck that. It would have been, excellent to just, like, fuck off work for that amount of time and still be paid for it.
Sure you would have had enough air?
It's not hermetically sealed. They don't, like, they don't cling film the lift every time the doors are closed.
Yeah, but it might not be hermetically sealed, but I bet not enough air is coming in as you can, can replace it.
Well, I think if it's just one person in the lift, I think it's absolutely fine.
Science demands that we discover this. Because I agree, it's not hermetically sealed, but there's got to be, you eventually, with enough people, you're going to run out of air. With enough people.
On the planet.
But then one of them has like a little cactus with them or something. Is that going to be enough to recycle the air? How many people and how many cactuses would you need to self-sustain, not including water, shitting, food, or going mental?
I can't live in this lift, all right? If that's your question.
£400 a month.
It's a nice little getaway.
And that brings me on to the next thing, what you were telling me about trying to rent somewhere, I thought was worth repeating. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, just clue me into exactly what you want me to talk about.
You were saying that you would go to a place which would offer like a room or whatever for like advertised price $1,300.
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing in London, at least, the market's just fucking shop for this stuff. So I'm trying to move at the moment.
Again, for some reason, I guess money, right?
Yeah. Well, the rent's gone up here, and I need to find other places. So what happens now is that, you only really find this. You don't really go to estate agents. You find like your apps and stuff, like third-party kind of aggregators for things like that. It will put you in. They'll list properties, and then as you show interest in them, you'll be put in touch with other estate agents. But they'll list all these properties for certain prices and what have you. You go in and say, I'll go for it, this, that, and the other. But because everything is so competitive at the moment, you say, I'll take it, put your offer down. But whoever else is in the thing that day will also put whatever they want down as well, and they can just offer whatever they like. So you're not looking at something at a set price at all. You actually have to go in, decide if you like it enough to live there, and then be prepared to pay to go for a bidding war on it. So
where they will say, you offered $1,300 and we advertise it as $1,300, but someone's offered some price more and not even tell you the price.
Yeah. It's all completely blind, and certain estate agents do it different ways with different landlords. So in some cases, they'll be given all the offers simultaneously, and they just pick whatever they like. And in the more fortunate cases, it's like first come, first serve. So if they get given an offer, and then that's it. But there is this despicable thing that's happening at the moment where landlords is basically just, they'll take all the viewings and they'll listen to all the interest and they'll make all the phone calls with all the relevant tenants, what have you. They'll ask them to put a bid in, basically, not an offer. And then they will review all of them. Sometimes they're going to be lower than the rent, but invariably, if people want to win it, it's going to be above it. And you have no idea how much you should be bidding. You don't know what you've lost by and how much you should offer. It's in desperate need of regulation, because this is fucking disgusting. If you offer something at a fucking price, that should be what you're going to pay.
Yeah, I mean, yes, definitely. How much do you have to pay for like a room?
Well, it depends on the quality of the room. The room I have at the moment is a very nice one in a nice house, and I'm paying over the odds at £950 each month.
For one room?
For one room. But it's unlike other houses I've lived in where you have to live in this room. I have very comfortable kind of access to the rest of the house. I don't feel like I'm not supposed to be there. So I feel like I'm part of a house rather than just a room. Granted, I like to spend most of my time in the room, but...
So it's got like a shared, like, central area.
Well, there's a living room, there's a kitchen, there's two bathrooms.
Yeah, right.
But you just...
And that's all communal.
Yeah, you just come and go as you please. Landlord's an old acquaintance of mine anyway. It's all very relaxed. And that's why I've been quite comfortable paying over the odds for it. Because it's just been one of the nicer living environments that I've had in London. I rented a room in a house in Golders Green before this, and it was very much, you have the room. You have it for like 600 quid. But you're really not welcome anywhere else. Not even in the fucking bathroom, it felt like.
Like stay in your room.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, right. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But this is also the landlord who's a living landlord that was the really creepy guy. That always be kind of around in his kind of like bum skimming neon nylon fucking workout shorts with massive gut. It just.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah.
It was a scintillating conversationalist and very hirsute man.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it definitely
did he ever have like Cheeto dust on his fingers or anything, or
say again?
Chicken wing? Did he ever have like food stuffs on his fingers?
Oh, nothing like that. He was actually kind of well groomed in that regard.
Oh, right, okay.
But he was like, I seem to remember he was in the 50s, and I would look out of my window, and I could see the window of my room it was on the back of the property, so I'd look out over the garden and the patio they had there, and every morning I'd see him there, working out with. Yeah, he had like this fucking crossbar thing, but he'd be there in his red silken kimono with a dragon on the back, and yeah.
Okay, so $950 for your room. Do you know what the square foot is?
On the room alone?
Yeah,
100 square feet, something like that. I'm not great with that. I've looked at a few places. I went to a few places.
So, well, what's the perimeter then, if you like?
I can't really. I'm not good at making estimates like that. It's an attached house. It would essentially be a 3-bedroom attached house. So it's actually quite spacious. There is a flat on the bottom floor, but everything above, first upwards is just one kind of house sized.
In your room, if you were to put a normal double bed on the floor, just the mattress, could you fit that mattress in 4 times?
Yeah, 4 times.
Just about 4 times.
Yeah, no, I think maybe even a little more. It's a very spacious room.
Yeah, it sounds like about 100, maybe 110. Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, that is unbelievable. That's £1,000 fucking pounds a month. For that, and that is like a completely normal price.
It's
in London,
like
right?
nicely decorated. It's kind of decorated very well, and all the mod cons are there. It's it's up to date. It's not cheap.
I remember so many people saying things all the time, like it's pretty good for London, like always with that for London.
Yeah, you always need that qualifier.
You always need that qualifier because
if you live in London,
anywhere else in the country, yeah.
If you want to live in London, be prepared to live in a filing cabinet.
Or be rich.
Not an option that I think a lot of people have. Definitely not us.
You didn't choose to be rich, Damien, you fucking loser.
Well, I guess that's probably what it was. I'm sure I could have done it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure I could have. I had a head for numbers. I could have just been an accountant. For sure.
Did you have a head for numbers though? Did you?
I was good. I was very good at that stuff. I just gave it up as soon as I picked up the guitar.
Are accountants rich?
Well, not accountants, but anything with. I'm sure I easily could have got into finance.
Yeah.
But as we've discussed privately on many occasions, these people are fucking rotten. And still want to be like. I mean, you're an intelligent guy. You could easily break into all of those kinds of things, but you had your priorities.
Yep. And now I'm living in my trailer. I'm down by the creek. Woods, whatever. It's not down by the woods. I'm right in the woods.
I don't think your your financial situation ever really bugs you at all. I think you're pretty proud that you deliberately lived outside of people like that.
Fringe class. Yeah.
Better than being middle class, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Do you feel middle class?
I suppose I would. I think, my dad.
I suppose, legally. I mean, I suppose just in terms of money, you kind of are at the bottom end of that.
Yeah. But I don't have my book clubs. I don't do brunch.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and again, like that's kind of the difference between Britain and America, really. Like, people here really just mean classes and money.
Well, I mean, like, I have like the bottom end of like a middle class income only because I work like 50, 60 hours a week. It would be middle class if I worked, 38 to 40 hours a week. A regular full-time working week. But it's not. It's relentless overtime.
Yeah, and not only that, it's like actual hard physical work.
Yeah, well, it's labour, yeah. By all accounts.
It's labour.
I mean, you've got a lot of chefs that have very big ideas about themselves, but yeah, we are all labourers, and we do serve people. We are servants. It's a lower class job, no matter how you want to cut it.
Good. Well, okay, good. I think we've covered pretty much everything then, apart from any more toilet news I've got to tell you. I got my boiler replaced recently. The landlady did it for me. She was good about it. That's nice.
Especially when she found the turd in it. How did that get in there? Don't know.
What? No.
I think this might have been a problem. I don't think so.
So I got her to replace the boiler by shitting in my own boiler. That's the long game.
It was bust because you shit in it, and then you had to cover your tracks.
It wouldn't break if you shit in it.
That turd was there before I got here.
Is someone been shitting in the boiler? I mean, how would you do it? You'd have to open it up with a can opener, right?
We're back into our zone. Okay, yeah.
Get a stepladder, get up there, jam your backside in. Because it's right up to the ceiling anyway. So you'd have to, double over, and then
as a chef, as
a chef, you know all about shitting in close proximity.
I feel I've mentioned this on multiple occasions, but the way to do it would be a piping bag.
Yeah, right. What a brilliant name for it.
Sorry?
What a brilliant name for it. Get my piping bag.
Yeah, not only that, right? Before you kind of lay your waste in there, your leavings, you can put a nice little a decorative nozzle on the end of the piping bag, so you can make little fondants as well.
You can sign it. You can sign your name with it.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have pastry training, so I can't actually write with a piping bag like so many can. But, a little practice makes perfect. You're a dedicated man.
With your mathematical abilities and my ability to smash bits of metal onto each other, perhaps we could make something sort of slightly internal, dispense with the piping bag, make something slightly internal that pressurizes and then sends the pressurized fluid through a mesh, kind of like aerosolizing it.
All right. What you need to do...
You could just spray paint with it.
What you need to do, pour out half a bottle of Coke, like one of the big ones.
Oh, you're talking about Mentos now.
Yeah. All right. Pipe the shit into that Coke, right?
Right.
And then switch it around, right? Because if you put the Mentos on top of that, it's just going to sit on the shit. It's not going to do nothing. All right? Mix it in. Make sure you got
is this half a bottle of Coke that has been cut in half?
No. No, nothing. No bottle's been cut in half. Pour it out. You have to make room for the shit. There's be too much displacement. Fuck's sake, man. Get on the same page. Make room for the shit. Put the shit in the bottle. Mentos after that. Screw the cap really tight.
How am I going to get it through the cap?
Okay, fine. Maybe apply. Maybe not a cap.
We need a funnel.
Yeah. We'll need like a hose. Apply one end to that bottle of Coca-Cola, and then apply the subsequent end to the boiler. There you go. Blows it out. Coca-Cola, shit. Broken. Was that the goal? I can't remember.
Well, it did blow out. So
and there was Coca-Cola everywhere.
Yeah. What I assumed was delicious Coca-Cola. Yeah. Well, it was just a calcium thing. I thought people would want to know that I got my boiler replaced. But I still don't have my toilet working.
Well, you live in the woods, don't you? So I don't see why that's a problem.
I have two toilets. I have one that's working, one that isn't. They're plumbed right next to each other.
Every time I flush the working one, the other one spits up.
Would you want it to be next to each other so you could hold hands, or would you want it to be knee to knee?
What I would like was like a really large toilet that could seat two people.
So they're like a family-sized toilet. Like, don't let the little ones fall in.
It's basically a bath with adjustable
Whichever
rim
one's
that you can lift.
defecating into. Yeah, kind of like the Romans did, I guess. Or how you would do over the side
Families
of a ship.
that shit together
Or
stay
the side
together.
of a skyscraper. They never show you that in the movies, do you? Do they?
They don't show you what, sorry.
The side, because skyscrapers, anything over 18 floors, you can't pump water up.
Okay.
So past the 18th floor, what they actually have to do is there's
Stick
like an
your ass out a
overhang,
window.
sort of like you would get in like Ye Olde Castle. There's an overhang and it just goes straight down the side. And yeah. Or in New York, all the sides of skyscrapers are all faced towards Staten Island.
Right. If this is true, this is fascinating.
This is true. Yeah.
Man.
Weren't you telling me something about in Saudi Arabia, all the skyscrapers there, they've not plumbed into the actual like sewer line and they have to like suck all the shit out every day?
No, that wasn't me.
Were you... No? Okay.
No. I'm very flippant with my toilet talk. I'm not actually... I don't go down to the
That's,
meat and bones of it.
The stop and cock, if you will. No, sorry, I'm talking shit. Disregard that. That's definitely not true. Because
Which part?
the guy who told me that is Lonnie, who also told me that he had Google Street View live and used it to zoom in on the moon. Remember that? Oh God, I just remembered that.
There's a crystal city on the moon. You can see through it.
Not on the moon. In the moon. He
He
zoomed in into the moon. Like, it was full of canyons, and he zoomed into one of these canyons. Right, from the Google Street View outside of his house, right? Because he noticed that his friend was stood outside of his house when he was looking at Google Street View, which has his friend outside of his house. Never mind that you could be like, wave or something. Oh, no, it's a photograph. Anyway, no, he's the same guy who said that, so disregard.
Excellent.
Yeah,
well, we need more
imagine
tales
that.
of this guy later on, at another time, I think.
Yeah, Google Street View adventures of just things that definitely didn't happen.
All right, so
All right, and I guess with that cough, we're finished.
No, I was checking the battery on this thing. It is, we're slowly pushing our luck, so yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap it up then.
Let's wrap it up.
All right, thanks for listening to this, you crazy, crazy people. I wish you luck out there in the mad, mad world. Not everyone is horrible, but, many are. So, it's not all shit, but be safe.
But we'll remind you of shit things, like toilets.
Yeah.
That's what...
Yeah, but things you can do, like, clench to block his interference.
A valuable lesson that my father taught me long ago.
Yeah, again, we haven't talked about the thermodynamics of that. Could you really clench hard enough?
No, not at all. But you can wish. Hope is all we have, George. Hope is all we have.
You could grit your teeth.
I mean, if you're in that position, you'll try anything. You'll wish you worked on your Kegel exercises a little bit more.
My butt Kegel exercises.
Same muscle
right,
group, I'm sure it works.
I wish I had worked on my muscle group.
Wish I worked on my butt.
All right then, well, thanks very much for listening. Bye.
Goodbye.